try to get back to normal, or well, it won't be the old normal, it'll be a new normal, but to get back to a stronger and more agile state. Yes, last Christmas Eve, I was just clearing up after dinner and I started feeling a bit funny. And I sat down and then said, I'll just go to bed and lie down. The family fortunately had a better idea and they called an ambulance. They thought I was not right. So very fortunately, even on Christmas Eve, all the health services were fully functional. The ambulance was here quickly and I was whisked into Geelong Hospital. The neuro team were waiting for me in emergency, and they said they'd keep me in overnight. Next morning I woke up on Christmas Day and they said, "Happy Christmas, you've had a stroke."
I couldn't breathe. I had to tell the kids, and I still can't breathe when I think about that moment. I just got on the phone to Tim, our son, and he said, "Mum." I said, "Tim, just can't breathe." And he said, "What has happened?" And I said, "Just give me a minute." And then I tried to tell them. I didn't believe it. I mean, I rang the hospital next morning and said, "Can I come and get him?" We just had dinner, it was all fine, and he couldn't put his cup on the coffee table. And that was when it started. And I wasn't sure, I'd never experienced a stroke before. His speech was slightly slurred, but nothing too much. You know, it didn't, I mean, if he'd had several drinks, you'd have assumed he was just slightly wobbly. But, you know, when we saw him next day, I went in and he was, you know, not very well.
When I woke up then on Christmas Day, I just simply could not move my right side. I could not move my right leg, my right arm, couldn't lift a finger or anything. Her immediate reaction was, "We're going to beat this thing." And it was essentially, we're going to beat this thing. That she's been with me all the way, usually, you know, quietly managing things and making things easy for me, but also encouraging me to do things for myself. After 5 days in the hospital, I went to Mackellar as an inpatient. I stayed there for 5 weeks. Initially, I would need 2 nurses to get me out of bed and onto my feet. I'd have regular sessions with physiotherapists, and then, you know, by the time I left, I could move around, I could dress myself, wash myself. I could walk from the ward through to the gym, which is 200 or 300 yards. So, you know, that was something I felt really pleased, and I felt that by the time I could do that, I was ready to go home. So I was doing the physiotherapy most days. I was also doing work with a speech therapist, occupational therapy, primarily around, you know, different hand actions and so on. So my handwriting is fairly slow and laborious. You know, I think it's as good as my 8-year-old granddaughter's, but she's rapidly getting better than me. I was doing aquatherapy 3 or 4 times a week, but initially that was just hobbling into the pool, and they'd put all sorts of floaties around me and I just float there and they'd push me around. And you know, I'd do a few exercises. But then more recently, I've been working with a physiotherapist, Emily, who's also a swimming instructor, and she's been, you know, trying to get me to swim properly with particular special exercises, and all aimed at getting me swimming. And one stage, as a flippant remark, I said, "Oh, I'd like to go snorkeling." And she seized on that and, you know, encouraged me to think that was realistic, which I didn't really think it was. So we've now accepted that as being a goal that I need to achieve. And that now has become important, something I have to do.
Stephen's been a terrific person to work with. He clearly expressed a goal that was close to his values of what he wanted to get back to as a result of his stroke. He showed lots of enthusiasm towards carrying out the exercises and the program that would help him move towards his goal. He's progressed amazingly well over the last few months, and he's well on track to achieve his goal of returning to snorkelling at the beach.
The idea was to do it on Christmas Eve, which would be the 1 year anniversary of my stroke. I realised Christmas Eve there may be other things going on, so that may not be the ideal day, but certainly sometime this summer. I love snorkelling, the sense of freedom, exploring a different world, the sense of being privileged to join all the marine life in their environment.
I feel elated. It was fantastic, just to get back in the water and to all the seaweed moving with the waves. Just another section of my life that I've got back to feel that I can go into the water and swim. It's tremendous. I won't be able to keep out of the water. I just want to say thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.